Good afternoon and welcome to the Orbit Stage Theatre 5 here at Accountex 2024. Delighted to see so many of you here today. I'm going to be talking about what the future demands for accountants and bookkeepers and tax advisors and the like. But we need to start with an important clarification and question. What does the future mean to you? And when I talk to accountants generally, they're not interested in the far-flung future and predictions about things that are going to happen in the distant future. They're much more interested in just the next 2 to 5 years. So you're not going to get any futuristic science fiction type predictions today, just what is relevant to the next 2 to 5 years. Having said that, diddly-dum, 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 diddly-dum. That's meant to be the Doctor Who theme for anybody who didn't recognize it. Because we are no longer the 16th of May 2024, it is now the 16th of May 2028. And I want to introduce you to Lorna. Lorna started her practice a couple of years ago in 2026. She's a forward, future-focused accountant. Some of the things she's doing in 2028, there are accountants doing in 2024. There will just be more of them by the time we get to 2028. For example, these are some of the services that Lorna is delivering in 2028. Some of you may be providing these services already. Some of you might have services like these on your websites, even though that doesn't mean you're necessarily delivering those services, of course. Before I get on to the main part of the talk and explain the impact of developments in AI, the importance of key business skills, and what I call distinction marketing, before I do that, let me tell you a little about how Lorna spends her day in 2028. Her day starts with her AI assistant, her co-pilot, if you like. Think of it as an advanced version of Alexa, Siri, Microsoft Copilot, Sage Copilot, or whatever. She's 4 years down the line. Lorna starts her day and her co-pilot tells her about recent contacts and connections from prospects and how they're developing. Tells her about her practice finances, urgent client matters, upcoming meetings, what's in her diary for the day, any changes there have been, and most of all, the most exciting bit of all, it brings together all the messages she's received across WhatsApp, text, email, web chat, even her social media channels, and ensures that she knows which of those messages need to be dealt with immediately. She doesn't have that constant threat of interruptions from messages because she has notifications turned off on all her devices, relies on her AI co-pilot to tell her what she needs to do. Beyond that, she's also using ChatGPT 15. This is 2028. And she's using that to monitor her emails. And she can rely on ChatGPT to draft communications to clients, whether that's requesting data, responding to inquiries, or chasing them for data, and doing it in her tone of voice, as adapted for each of her clients. She's been using this for 2 years in her practice. It knows how she wants to communicate. It speeds things up, saves so much time. Now, I'm not here to debate with you the difference between machine learning, generative AI, large language models, and the like. None of that matters. The important things are, there are two key important things here. The first is the speed with which new technology is evolving, faster than I've ever seen in my career, and that's a long time. But also, these developments are already enabling accountants to work faster, to deliver improved client service, and actually greater job satisfaction than ever before. Remember, we're in 2028 here, not necessarily tomorrow, but not very far into the future either. Lorna likes to spend her mornings in 2028 doing about 3 hours billable work. Some of you are dreaming of being able to do that. She starts by, of course, making tax digital. This is 2028. Yes, it has happened. It's embedded. It's there. And she's worked out how to monetize MTD for income tax. She's only taking on clients that want the benefit of her advice as regards their quarterly accounts. And she does the same with partnership clients and corporate clients as well. Beyond all the other general advice you might expect her to be delivering, she's heavily invested in cybersecurity for the protection of client data in the office, in the cloud, online, and helping her clients better understand the sensitivities and importance of keeping data safe and secure. All of that means that come the afternoon, Lorna can devote her time to non-billable work, business development, strategizing, and networking with new clients. She does that most afternoons because she has the time to do it because her client base is pretty much dealt with through her Copilot, ChatGPT, and the work that she does in the mornings. She also uses ChatGPT to create personalized client videos. She's created a bank of them herself, but ChatGPT by 2028, or some version of something like that, could look at her bank of videos, her library of personalized videos for clients, and tailor new ones to advise clients by reference to their financial data. More accurate financial data than we've ever had before, and faster than ever before. And of course, Lorna does this for those clients who don't want to pay her top-level fee for personalized meetings with Lorna live face-to-face. If she's creating videos, why not let ChatGPT or her Copilot do that for her? She also spends her time in the afternoons securing client commitment, what we might call sales skills. She's honed them over the years. She's choosy about which clients she takes on. She wants to ensure she only takes on the sort of clients that she wants, paying the fees that she wants, doing the work that they value, and work that she enjoys. Wouldn't it be lovely to be able to operate your practice like that? Within a few years, that will be possible to a greater extent than ever before. Remembering the services that Lorna is providing in 2028, of course, it's very important to think about what else she could do with ChatGPT, and she asks it to look at her website and to update it for her. Each week, she updates the homepage of her website to focus on a different service. In the example I'm talking about now, this is the message on there at the moment. She wants to change the focus for next week, and next week's focus instead, it'll be focused on her unraveling service, back on track service for those clients who've gone elsewhere but got into a mess, either trying to do it themselves or whatever. And updating the homepage of her website using Copilot or GPT will be as simple as updating the banner at the top of your LinkedIn profile, something I did this week because I put a QR code on there for anybody who wants the presentation pack, copies of the slides or whatever from today. And you'll be able to snap copies of that QR code later as well. She also gets ChatGPT to produce a whole slew of new messages to go out on social media channels for her and on YouTube by reference to whichever service she's focused on, highlighting the value that clients get from approaching her in connection with that service. Now, I have to tell you, I don't think that's necessarily a good way to operate in 2024. I don't know if things will have changed by 2028. By the way, you're welcome to snap the slides. I'll send a copy of the whole lot to you afterwards if you want them. The question here is not whether any of your clients will want or benefit or need you to be providing these services. The question is, what impact will it have on you when it comes to competing for new work in 2028, when you are competing with accountants who operate like Lorna does? How does that make you feel, that sort of glimpse into the future? Excited about what the future's going to develop? A little bit worried, perhaps, about the challenges ahead? Or maybe you're indifferent. My business card, you should have one on your chairs. There's more lying around. I want you to take out my business card, the bookmark, because online everywhere I'm book Mark Lee. Instead of a show of hands, I'm going to ask you to hold up the bookmarks. If you're excited by the future, hold up the bookmark so we can see the smiley face. If you're worried, hold up the green box so we can see the green box. If you're a bit indifferent, hold it horizontally. Let's have a feel for what do you think about the future here. And I've just realized a major flaw in my plan. I can't see what you're doing. Seemed like such a good idea in rehearsals. Thank you for indulging me. The crucial point here, if you are worried at all about the future, and I saw some of you were, is to remember the old adage, learning is the antidote to fear. So we're going to learn a lot over the next half hour. What I'm going to help you with is to consider how you will navigate what's coming. We know that over the years, accountants just adapt when things change. There have been many, many changes over the years throughout my career, and accountants don't listen to people telling them that they've got to change. They wait until change is upon them, and then they adapt at the last minute. And historically, that has worked fine for some people. I have to tell you, and I've been debunking a lot of the hype about the changes that are coming over the last 15 years. I'm not debunking them now. I think I've drunk the Kool-Aid. I've seen what's coming. The speed of change, the speed of development, the speed of access to new technology that is learning about what we do and how we do it is astonishing, it's scary, it is exciting. But some of you are sitting there cynical. No, Mark, I think you may have lost it. This isn't all going to happen. It's not going to happen fast like that at all. So rather than challenge you on that, let's see if we can agree on something. Why do people look for an accountant in 2024? What's the primary reason? I think there are 3 reasons people look for an accountant in 2024. The first reason is the reason since time immemorial. Certainly since I started my career in the 1980s, lots of people want to find an accountant because there are legal obligations that they have to satisfy to prepare and file accounts and tax returns. And that pushes them to go, hey, I don't want to do that. I can't afford to spend time doing it myself. I don't trust myself to do it. There are deadlines I might not meet. There are penalties for getting it wrong. I need an accountant, any decent accountant. How many of you, again, hold up your bookmarks for me, please. How many of you think that the majority of your clients have come to you for that reason? Again, I'm surprised that there aren't more going up. Thank you for waving them at the back, and you wave them. I can definitely see them. I appreciate that. Second reason people go to an accountant is because they have worries about tax. Specifically, they want advice on how to reduce or avoid taxes or plan their taxes. And then the third primary reason is they need accounts for expansion, investment, finance, or whatever. So having given you the 3 primary reasons, majority of your clients coming to you because there are legal obligations they have to satisfy? Yeah, a lot of cards and a lot of nodding of heads. And that's where I think things may change in the coming future. For the first time in my career, I am seeing a faster rate of what I might call client seepage. Particularly low-cost or low service level clients, be they consultants, coaches, contractors, whose affairs they feel are very straightforward. They're following the opportunity to go for lower cost services. They may be tempted away by some of the low cost online providers. There's just a few of them on there. Now, of course, if they go to some of those people, they may only be appropriate for the simplest of tax returns, which is why they may come back and need help unraveling things in the future. But I'm seeing a greater movement of people away from conventional accountants paying decent fees than ever before. And I see a number of nods in the audience here. And that's why Lorna, for example, is offering her unraveling service in 2028. And the people who left her, went for a cheapo accountant, or tried to do things themselves, are coming back because their affairs do warrant her services. They just didn't realize it before. Of course, the clients who are least at risk of going and following any of these alternative offerings are those who benefit from your personal touch, your personal support, your personal connection. But be honest, how many of your clients are benefiting quite in that way? That takes us nicely on to talking about the impact of developments in AI, because one thing AI can't do is deliver that personal touch, personal connection, personal relationship. Let me start by saying something I feel passionately about. You are not going to be replaced by AI or by AAI, that's augmented accounting intelligence. I feel that very strongly. Those people, and we've seen, some of us have seen the research and the stories that say you're going to lose your jobs because of AI. Not true. That sort of story is typically touted by people who don't really understand what accountants do. They're naive and they make inaccurate assumptions about the role of a qualified accountant, an experienced accountant. Anybody here already using some form of AI in their office, be it ChatGPT or software that uses it? Yeah, I can see loads of hands and cards going up for that. Thank you. That would make you IA, intelligent accountants, of which I'm sure you are all intelligent accountants. And you recognize that AI is not going to take your jobs because it is just a tool. But it's a tool, and the speed of development is such that those accountants that embrace AI and start using the tools that it is embedded in are going to zoom past their competitors, their colleagues, partners and managers. And that's why you need to get on the bus. And I have to admit, this is my favorite slide in the whole presentation. AI systems are enabling accountants to streamline their processes, streamline compliance work in a way and at a speed we've never been able to do before. If you think about it, years ago, calculators, when they first came on the screen, and there's very few on the scene rather, very few of you are old enough to remember that, they were going to revolutionize accountancy, change the work that we did. Spreadsheets. Oh my goodness, we won't need accountants anymore. We've got spreadsheets. Cloud accounting. 15 years ago, I had people telling me that accountants who embrace cloud accounting will take over from all those who don't embrace it. Didn't happen. Almost everybody's embraced cloud accounting now, which is great. But these were revolutions in their time, in the same way that AI is now a revolution. But at the risk of repeating myself, this revolution is moving a lot faster than any of the others we've had before. And it's enabling us to deliver services that are faster, easier, and more accurate than ever before. Less human error. Freeing up time to allow accountants to engage more deeply with clients and to offer more services that we might call advisory. And I do a whole other talk on what advisory is and how to move into it. I'm not going to get into that today, but it's much wider than most people fear, and it's easier than most people think as well, because to an extent you're doing it already. Mark, for the second time today, we think you've lost it. How can you possibly say these things about AI? AI makes mistakes. It hallucinates. It's unreliable. Yeah, as we sit here in 2024, that's true to an extent. And I'm talking about 2028. We've got time to adapt and change before we get there, but we need to get on the bus in order to do that. But I'd remind you, have you ever used a spreadsheet that gave you inaccurate answers and produced inaccurate data? Yes, of course we have. And particularly when we started using spreadsheets, there were mistakes, there were errors. And then two things happened. The first one is we learned not to blame the spreadsheet. The mistakes that spreadsheets made were because the operators, us, didn't understand best practice. We didn't know, for example, to avoid embedded formulas. Really important. It's one of the reasons why we stopped relying on spreadsheets and we now buy into financial analysis and software that is more reliable than our own spreadsheets, because we haven't developed the skills ourselves to program them so that we can rely on them on a regular basis. We use the software that's been tested and programmed by other people. So there's a lot of AI already built into trusted packages. We're going to see more of that coming over the next few years. It checks and validates errors. It validates data. It avoids errors and mistakes. It's astonishing in terms of ensuring that we can be more reliable, more competent, and it's more revolutionary as well. It's incumbent upon us to learn how to use the software that contains the AI and the bots, because it will simplify, speed up our attempts to do repetitive, low-value tasks. I talk about speed. ChatGPT first introduced just 18 months ago. Just this week, there was another update to it, 4.0. I don't think it's 4.0, it seems to be 4.0. We're expecting version 5 later in the summer. It's not unreasonable to expect we could be at version 15 by 2028 when Lorna is operating. I actually asked ChatGPT if it thought that was reasonable, and it said yes. But AI embedded in software is still pretty new. I identified at least a dozen suppliers here at Accountex today who are talking about AI. There are others that have it embedded in their systems that don't even talk about it because they've been doing it for so long. There's more and more of it to come, and it will only get better. Large American consultancy, McKinsey Corporation, last year did a survey of businesses that were already using AI. In almost every category, the businesses already using AI were seeing something like 25% increases in productivity and service delivery to clients. There is all sorts of research around confirming what I said before. AI is not going to take your jobs, but if you use it intelligently, it will enable you to be more productive and more efficient. And I put this slide in as well, because this one is a group of consultants who, when asked about the impact of AI, said that it improved productivity by a little over 12%. They were faster with their work, 25% of them, 40% said that the quality of their work had improved because they had embraced AI. It's freeing up time that would otherwise be spent on repetitive, low-value tasks. Freeing up time so that you can focus instead on doing the stuff AI can't do. Now, let's be honest, those of you who've already trained and qualified, or maybe been in practice for a while, did you train and qualify in order to spend your time focused on that low-level processing work? I mean, it pays nicely for the moment, but that's not why we train and qualified as accountants, most of us. Spending time with clients doesn't appeal to everybody, I know. I was on a panel session yesterday where we talked about introverts and marketing, so I do get that. But I've also heard it said that we are not in the business of being accountants. If we're running our own practice, then we have to recognize that our business is promoting the practice. Because if we don't promote it, how are we going to get clients? They don't come to us magically. So we need to adapt and evolve in order to ensure that we remain in demand for the services that AI can't deliver. I was at another conference recently. A partner from a mid-tier firm, Bully Davy, said three things that I thought were quite fascinating and sort of reinforce what I'm saying here. He said, we're already serving significantly more clients than 5 years ago, but without taking on more staff. He said, we see this trend continuing. Growth in clients and profits without the need for more staff. Not replacing qualified accountants so much as reducing the need for administrative and junior unqualified staff. Now, every firm is different. Not all large firms will operate like this, but it will become more and more true as we rely on the software in a way we've never been able to do before. Takes me on to talking about key business skills, something else that AI can't do, and the importance of developing our key business skills. And you may have heard me a few times mentioning selling skills and Lorna's selling skills, and I can sense the antipathy in the room. Selling? Selling? I know what image that conjures up. Selling skills, the second-hand car salesman. How about we reframe it? We're not talking about selling skills. We're talking about the skills you need to secure client commitment. Because if you can't do that, you're not going to win clients. Doesn't matter what marketing or promotion software does for you, or a third-party marketing or sales promotion agent does for you. You have to be able to secure the client commitment at the end of the day. And if you're no longer securing client commitment to a service that they need somebody to provide because of legal obligations, you need to enhance your skills to secure client commitment to those services that they don't feel an absolute need to come to you for. AI can't do everything that we do. It can't deliver trust, confidence, peace of mind. It can't build rapport. We have to be able to do that ourselves. And we have to recognize that key business skills are not soft and easy and fluffy. All those people who've told us that it's soft skills rather than the hard, technical skills. Key business skills are not easy. They're not soft and fluffy. They are becoming more crucial than ever before. If I think back to my own career, that photo is indeed 30 years old. My own career only really developed 30 years ago, not because I was technically brilliant or better at dealing with accounts or tax than any of my colleagues, but because I had developed the skills to communicate more confidently and to communicate complex concepts in ways that my clients and colleagues could better understand. I was developing and had developed my key business skills more than many of my colleagues. And that's why I was able to achieve a degree of success in my career. It had nothing to do with me being a member of the Magic Circle, which I am, but that really had nothing to do with it in those days. But when we think about key business skills and how we develop them, for most of us developed our key business skills, those soft skills, watching colleagues through trial and error, or maybe attending courses or training and the rest of it. I did that. I also used to listen to personal development tapes. I listened to them as I commuted to and from work. This is one of the first ones I listened to, The Psychology of Achievement, by an American called Brian Tracy. And contained in that tape was the idea that we should have a personal mantra. And he encouraged us to have a mantra, I like myself, I like myself. I expanded on that, and as I walked to and from the station every morning and every evening on my daily commute, I used to say to myself, every day, in every way, in everything I think, do, or say, I'm constantly improving, getting better all the time. Did it make any difference? Who knows? But what it did do is it did reinforce to me the fact that wishful thinking alone wasn't going to get me anywhere. I realized that I had to be prepared to take action if I wanted things to change. And I took action. I put myself on more personal development courses than many of my colleagues did. And then in 2006, after I experienced redundancy for the second time, I thought I'd focus on those elements of my career I enjoyed the most: speaking, writing, and mentoring, which is what I've been doing since 2006. That's a screenshot from my website. Go back to Lorna, the services she's providing in 2028. Obviously, she needed to develop her technical skills in order to provide these services. Copies of all the slides afterwards, if you want them, you're welcome to take pictures. She's learned the hard stuff, but what about on the soft side of things? Many of the skills that she needs are timeless personal skills. Timeless skills like communication skills, self-management, marketing, networking. There's a whole raft of them. She's built them up over time. We all have. Over the next 3 slides, I'm going to show you a raft of key business skills that I think you will need to develop by 2028 if you want to compete favorably with accountants like Lorna. Because most of our training to date, let's be honest, has been focused on the rules, practices, and laws that we need in order to provide technical advice. We do that by attending technical courses, looking at magazines, looking at updates online. But beyond that, what about the rest of it? How did you get to where you are today? Would you hold up your card again if you think that it's your personal skills that helped you get where you are today more than your technical knowledge? Vast majority of people holding up their cards, it's your personal skills that get you where you want to get, not the technical knowledge is important. I'm not demeaning technical knowledge at all. Crucially important, but you have to develop the personal skills as well. So do you make time for this, to hone your personal skills? Do you assume it's just down to common sense, which isn't always common practice, of course? So here are the three slides. This is the first one: client relationship and management skills. Some of those you may already have. Again, you can snap the QR code, let you choose it, what I'll send to you afterwards. Beyond that, strategic and analytical skills, and leadership and project execution skills. Lots of non-technical skills that you will want to develop to compete favorably with somebody like Lorna in 2028. So let's run through what I talk about when I reference distinction marketing. I'm talking about how you can stand out from the crowd, stand out from your competitors, your peers, and the pack. To date, you've been able to do it to an extent by focusing on your historic accounting services, the ones that people come because they're looking for an accountant to help them satisfy their legal obligations. We're challenged in the world by all those people who think that all accountants are the same. It's not that all accountants are the same, it's that the accounts and tax returns that are produced all look pretty much the same, regardless of who produces them. That's what's the same, not the accountants delivering them. There are so many factors that make all of you different. Your background, your experiences, your clients, your style, your approach. And all of those factors enable you to charge different fees. Because whilst the output might be the same, the service that you deliver is different. And if it isn't different now, by 2028, it will need to be. Because if all you're doing is just processing and producing accounts and tax returns, you won't be able to compete with accountants like Lorna. I've been talking about how to stand out for years. I've written a lot about it. There's just a sample of many of the dozens of posts on my blog that talk about it. The first free guide I produced, also available on my website, 7 ways in which you can choose to stand out. I sometimes talk about the 3 R's, how to be better remembered, referred, and recommended. Being a member of the Magic Circle helps me to get remembered sometimes. It never got me referred or recommended for accounting and tax work because it's not relevant. It's not evidencing any value to the clients. But as I say, you are all special and different. You need to focus and identify what it is that helps you to be special and different. Because you're not only competing with other accountants like Lorna, you're competing with the coaches and consultants who've got access to the same software that's being promoted here today. They don't have your training, but they do already have the skills to secure client commitment and other key business skills. And if you're not competing with them now, you will be within a few years because of the ease of access they have to the software, and they're prepared to invest in it. So there's more competition for accountants, providing a wider range of services than ever before. There's no one else like each of you out there. You are all special and different. Nobody can replicate you unless they create deep fakes, which I got to AI to do for me. None of those are me, not even that one. My colleague Philippa Haynes, with whom I run the Accountant Success Secrets podcast, is a specialist marketeer and branding expert who works with accountants to help them identify what makes them special and different, to identify their personal story. I'd encourage you to have a word with her. Listen to our podcast. And finally, before I wrap up, let me just mention that standing out is something it's easy to do on LinkedIn, which is an online business networking platform. Don't think of it as social media. Over 300,000 British people identify as accountants on LinkedIn. Most of them are not very active there. Many of those who are on there don't stand out from each other. Many of them are just communicating with each other in their own echo chamber. My advice to you today is to ensure that you update your LinkedIn profile to ensure it highlights what makes you special and different for all the other accountants out there. You can use your phone camera or the QR code to get the presentation pack and bonuses. And that QR code is also on my LinkedIn profile today. And if you've got my bookmark, there's a link to my LinkedIn profile there. Do connect with me if we're not already connected on LinkedIn. So let's go right back to the beginning then. What does the future demand of you? I think it demands 5 things. It demands that you be relevant to what remains of compliance work in the future. It demands that you be relevant to your future clients' needs, which go beyond requiring support with their legal obligations. The future demands that you be able to promote your service to attract the right type of people, the type of people you want to work with, delivering the service that you enjoy and who are prepared to pay the fees that you want to charge or that you deserve for delivering those services. The future demands that you be able to pitch and price your services to work with who you want. And the future demands that you evidence to them and that you be able to evidence to them that you're delivering more value than an AI accounting bot or a coach or a consultant who's got access to the same software as you. The choice is not whether we need to change in the near future. The choice is how much and how soon we have to get on the bus. So let me finish by just summarizing the 5 points I've been making today that I'd encourage you to take away today. If you want to stop being yesterday's accountants, I would love you to become more Lorna. Embrace and leverage AI, offer valuable new services, reinforce your distinctiveness, standing out from other accountants, negate the impact of client seepage by the way you promote yourself, and amplify the value that you deliver across all of your services, the current ones and the future ones. Promised you one quick magic trick. Imagine that this little black box is the past. There's a lot of it. The future, in comparison, seems a lot smaller than the past, and certainly for some of us, there is less future than there was past. But if we really embrace the future, we will find that the future can become all-embracing until we can move forwards confident that the future will remove all concerns about the past and allow us to be successful as we go forwards into the future. Thank you, but it's too late now. I'm not going to beg for it. Oh, thank you. When we get to the 16th of May 2028, where we started, when we get to 16th of May 2028, and you are being interviewed about your success that you've achieved over the last few years, and the interviewer says, was there a turning point for you? I hope that you will say yes. I hope you will say it was the 16th of May 2024. You were at Accountex at the Excel Centre. You were listening to Mark Lee on stage talking about the future. And Mark inspired you to start taking steps and to make changes so that you could be more successful into the future, and that your success is directly attributable to the changes that you make after attending this talk today. The future demands different accountants to those of yesterday. I want you to be part of that future. Thank you.
Excuse me, everyone. I'm so sorry. I do hope you won't mind and just give me a couple more minutes of your time. I'm Caroline from the organisers, and if you've just watched this presentation, you'll be very aware that Mark Lee is a fantastic speaker. What you may not know is that Mark has actually spoken at every single Accountex since it began in
2012.
2012, thank you. Sorry, I wasn't there. So I think hopefully you'll join me in congratulating Mark as we give him the first ever Accountex Award for Outstanding Contribution. Mark Lee.
Oh, Caroline, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Well done.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. That means so much. Thank you.